Good evening, Winthrop Votes Live. Welcome to another episode. How you been there, Scott?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, although let's see, weather's getting colder up here, so as I age, I start to dislike it more.
Yeah, it's getting cold down here in Boca Raton also.
Yeah.
It's
I
getting
know.
cold.
Do you want to go for a minute? Because I know you enjoy that.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Every winter. I never get sick of tormenting all my friends up north.
Yeah. It's the time of year where you get cold to the bone, and sometimes you just don't get warm until the summer hits.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, man. So you ready to do a good show?
Yeah.
All right.
So. You?
All right. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm always ready, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm always ready.
Do you have anything specific on your mind? I mean, it's been a week. It's been quiet here in Winthrop, sort of. We did have the Winthrop Republican Town Committee meeting, but what about you? What's on your mind?
We'll touch on that. So last week we had Lane Petrie on. She did a good job, good interview. Wasn't 100% satisfied with a couple of the answers that she gave. And this is just my perception. It's not a knock on her, and it's not a push for her either. But I had asked her if it's a conflict of interest in regards to her working as an administrator in the Boston school system. That's what she's in administration, right?
She is an administrator. Well, yeah, she's an administrator.
Right. She handles budgets, etc. It just, I don't know. Is there a conflict of interest there as far as in the daytime you're working with teachers, and that at night you're working for the kids? I don't see how you could balance that. But I'm not saying she can't, but it just seemed to me that to me that's a conflict of interest.
Is there? Well, let me make sure I understand you clearly. So during the day, in her regular job, in a regular day job, she's working with the other administrators, the faculty, and the school environment, and then quote unquote at night when she goes to school committee meetings, she said
she's all about the kids.
Yeah. And so you don't think that that's a transition that can be made, or do you think like legit, real legal kind of conflict, like remove yourself conflict?
I mean, I wouldn't say. I just don't. I mean, listen, it's up to the voters. She's not going to step out. It's up to the voters to decide if there's a conflict there. I mean, again, I just found it interesting that you're kind of doing two different things. I'm not saying she's against the kids during the daytime, but you're working in a world that's kind of, at this point in time, a lot of flashpoints going off there.
Yeah. I mean, when you're immersed in it, you can't help but have biases, right? I mean, I that's always been
you would
a
think
legitimate concern.
Human nature is,
Yeah.
So again, I'm not knocking it. But then I think a little more about this. We don't just do, for the people that are watching, we don't just do interviews and then walk away. Like, oh, okay, we're waiting for the next one. I know personally that Todd and I talk about these things afterwards. We kind of break it down. We do a little more homework if we have to. And one of the things that I found interesting was, so when someone's running for a position, a political position, you got to look at who supports them. That gives you a good idea of where that person's coming from or where they're going and why these people, certain people, support certain candidates, right? Makes sense.
Fair point.
Instead of just looking right at the candidate, look around them. Look at the whole picture. Too many people have tunnel vision. So we go back to, let me bring it back to that questionnaire that went around. It's basically one Winthrop.
Yeah.
It's the people that run one Winthrop, right? So I found this. on their Facebook, in their Facebook group. So I'm going to put it up there. Now, it's not the one that's circled. And for the people watching, if you can't really see it, the one circled said, if the others were not interested or had the decency to respond, they certainly do not consider anyone's vote. So that was in regard to the 5 people that didn't fill out the questionnaire, right? And there's another reference to that, what's her name? Who was the one that started it? Let me take this down for a second.
Leonora Foley.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different places on Facebook. Sorry, Scott. There are a lot of different groups, pages on Facebook where this was a topic of conversation.
Yeah. So you have Julia Pringle Wallace. What's her name?
Prange. Like strange, Pringle, but Prange.
Okay. Julia Prange Wallace, who's already inflicted her liberal progressive ideas on Winthrop. She's no stranger to it. And the people of Winthrop pretty much, if you're on Facebook and you're involved in any Winthrop group or most Winthrop groups, she pops up. Okay. So she writes this: if only at least one other candidate had taken the time and effort to response, she wrote response, we have 3 votes to place. I hope the other 5 reconsider their approach here. No, what's their approach? Not answering a questionnaire?
What else could she be referring to?
It's already slanted, right? Yeah. It's already slanted. We need every opportunity we can get to learn about and make informed decisions about this election. Thank you, Suzanne Leonard and Lane Petrie, who I'm talking about. You've got my vote. Now, that person who wrote that, I'm sure, they could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I'm sure she's not going to vote for somebody just because they filled out a questionnaire. It's kind of like Phil threatening the town manager by saying, I'm gonna, you're pissing off all the politicians, all the state politicians, right? This lady is not voting for Lane Petrie because of the questionnaire. It's the answers in the questionnaire.
My gut tells me she posted that without even reading it, because what I was just to stay on this, I was suspect about that from the beginning, because the questionnaire had barely been out and they're already telling us who they're voting for us, essentially. I mean, they hadn't even put out the results yet.
So she's a big part of it. Exactly. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Nah, it's all right.
You're not mad at me? You're not mad? Okay.
We can still be friends.
All right, buddy. She's part of that one Winthrop. Yeah. She's part of that. And I can tell you for a fact that she's been involved in all the behind the scenes stuff since at least 2018, because I dug this up. See, I do my homework, right? As you do. You do a lot more than me, buddy. I'll tell you that. You do. So I found this, all right? This is from the Winthrop transcript, May 17th, 2018.
Wow.
Okay? I'm gonna attempt to read this off my screen. It says, all right, you know what? I don't want to mess this up, because this is pretty good stuff right here. So bear with me 1 second. Here we go. So it says, when we look around our town, we can see that things are changing. Over the past 2 decades, Winthrop has welcomed, remember this, Winthrop has welcomed communities of different colors and faiths among our friends, family, and neighbors, as well as our customers, colleagues, and classmates. Across America, these same changes are happening, but sadly, Not all communities are adapting, and we are seeing a worrying uptick in acts of bigotry. So we find ourselves at the crossroads. What kind of town does Winthrop want to be? Will we accept and embrace these demographic changes, showing both residents and outsiders that Winthrop welcomes diversity, that we see our strengths? I'm going to stop right there. See, they already flipped this. This is all liberal word salad. It's a flip right there. She says right at the beginning, Winthrop has welcomed communities of different colors, faiths among our friends, families, neighbors, as well as customers. She says that right at the beginning, right? Oh, the authors say this at the beginning. Winthrop welcomes communities. And then in the next paragraph, what kind of town does Winthrop want to be? Will we accept and embrace? Well, we already did, according to her.
Yeah, that's what she said earlier.
Yeah, she said it right off the beginning. Will we accept and embrace these demographic changes, showing both residents and outsiders Winthrop welcomes diversity, that we see our strengths and our differences, and that we are committed to fostering blah, 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 right? So which one is it? Okay, so you go all the way to the end. Yeah, I could read the rest, but it's just garbage. It's garbage. And this is from 2018. Sincerely yours, Sylvia Whiting, Stephanie Recchia, Julia Pranger Wallace, Julia Prange Wallace, Leonora Foley Shaw, one Winthrop. Boom. Right? From 2018. Right? It says something in there about diverse. I did. I sent it, Todd. They talk in there about a diversity committee. Now, listen, I give them credit. They had a plan. They executed it. They stayed aggressive. And they got what they wanted. They got this useless diversity and inclusion committee. Right? I give them credit. You got to give credit where credit's due. They had a plan and they executed it.
And
right?
they always do.
Yeah. And conservatives sit back and go, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. I cannot believe what is going on with my town. Because conservatives sit back. Progressives are aggressives. And they will get what they want as long as the conservatives sit back and let it happen. Unless you get out and vote.
So
that's the change.
Well, all right. So let's tie this together then. So
Yeah.
are you suggesting here, right? Birds of a feather flock together. These are the people that are behind her. They picked. When we're talking in this case, you're talking about Lane.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say Lane Staley. Sorry,
that's an Alice in Chains reference.
Yeah, sorry, Lane, if you're watching. But
right.
You're suggesting that because one Winthrop supports her, there's something we need to be mindful of.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying the facts that I've seen by her, by Julia Prange Wallace. She says, I've been called. I don't think you have, Lane. Now, and again, this isn't a knock on her. No. I'm just looking at who's supporting her. It's just a flag.
What is that? But all right, devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I want to get all the votes I can to win.
Right. So what, you walk the line?
I equivocate. What do you call it? I don't even know.
What you're walking down the middle. You're not committing to one or committing to the other. What just concerns me is those people are not stupid people.
Right, that's true.
They're not.
Nope.
And again, I'm not. I won't bash them because they executed a plan that conservatives won't do. They will not get together, whether they're afraid they'll be called racists or white supremacists or any other label that the liberal progressives like to have.
Ism, obia.
Yeah.
Obia.
Yeah. because that's what they do. They make up names like Latinx, right? BIPOC. That's the best one yet.
Mm-hmm.
And for people that don't know what BIPOC is, that's Black Indigenous People of Color. So Black people went from being Black people to African Americans to people of color, and that's not good enough for liberal progressives. It's not good enough. Now it has to be Black, Indigenous. Last time I checked, Todd, you and I were Indigenous to the United States. Last time I checked, and everybody watching is Indigenous.
No, sir.
People of color. So
no, sir. No, sir. I acknowledge my white privilege.
Oh, I'm just saying, but you're Indigenous to the United States.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what I mean. So it's just liberal progressives love making up names. They love putting letters together. Right? So back to my point. You just have to look at the reason why they're supporting the candidates they support. It's certainly not because they filled out a questionnaire. I just find that hard to believe. There's something else in there.
And
maybe we're not seeing it.
I didn't walk away from that interview with her thinking she wasn't progressive. And she knows I saw her at we'll be talking about this shortly, the Winthrop Republican Town Committee. I called it, well, never mind. I don't want to say it here.
Yeah.
I went to it and I watched it and I saw her. Then we had another conversation. I talked with everybody there. But yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah. You're known for the company you keep. And in politics, you're known for your voter base. Right. So
Hannah's back.
Yeah. Hannah's back. Is she coming back on the show?
She's welcome.
I thought she said she wanted to come on one more time.
Yeah, she's welcome. Well, you know what? I think I owe her a date. Actually, I think you're right. My bad. Don't. Well, and
I think she reserved that like 4 weeks ago.
I guess I got to get busy. I guess it's fair then to say, all right, fine, that's fair. It's fair to say maybe that's something the voters should look out for.
Yeah, and listen. This doesn't mean that Lane's a bad person. All right. I don't want anyone to get the idea that, oh, you know what? Then she's not a bad person. She's actually a nice person. Right. Might have the wrong people backing her. As far as I'm concerned. But listen, I'm just a producer of this show. So what do I know? Right.
That's right. What do you know?
So somebody just commented in.
It's a great
4 anti-CRT school committee candidates only who are clear: Brittany, Celeste, Julie, and Ellen.
I think what he means by clear is, or she, sorry, should never. Gendered language. I'm sorry. I think what that person means is that they were clear in their absolutely not of CRT, where you had some for sure with Suzanne, who will be on next week, Suzanne Leonard. Looking forward to that interview. With Suzanne, there was certainly some equivocation, if you will, some balancing and tightrope walking. I would say Lane walked a little bit of a tightrope, and the same for Jen Powell.
Yeah, well, again, we'll see what she has to say next week.
That's a good.
She knows it's coming, so
yeah.
And you've already figured out that she's already she hasn't really said either way that she's against it.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
So that's a good segue. I did attend the Republican Town Committee meeting down the Point Shirley Association, where candidates got to answer, I think, 3 questions. I would say I'm not a fan of these types of controlled environments where you have everybody from all the different, you have the council president, the councilors, the precinct councilors, the councilors at large, and the school committee all in one room. I know it's efficient, but everybody's roles are different. And I think they should have different discussions where they can challenge each other's answers and have more time to do so. I don't find these effective, but nonetheless, it is a chance to at least hear them speak. The interesting thing for me that happened, and I want to start with this because, as the viewers may remember, during the debate, we had a discussion. There was a question about why the town manager left. Why did the town manager leave? And Phil responded to that question by blaming Jim, by saying, Jim, it was because of you, because you badgered him with questions. You were constantly bothering him. You were berating him in public meetings, et cetera, essentially holding him accountable. Now, the first thing that's interesting about that, and we don't have access to this, I wish we did, but if there is a non-disclosure agreement in place, did Phil violate that?
Or a confidentiality agreement?
Yeah, sorry, confidentiality agreement.
There's one or the other, usually with settlements.
Yep, it's one or the other.
Usually the answer is I can't comment on that because there was an agreement. You see it all the time.
That's right.
In lawsuits. Can't comment on it. So if there is, and we're going to find out if there is a confidentiality agreement or anything of the sort, we're going to find out about it. And we will tell the people. Because we bring you the news that the transcript won't.
Oh, that's right. We haven't picked on them in a while.
No, go on. I know this.
So there's more. There's more.
And this is good, people. This is good.
So Jim had a chance to respond and he didn't. And I'm not going to continue to beat him up for this, but I don't think I would have allowed that lie, because that was a lie that we proved by reading the text here on the show last week and a few weeks previous. So Jim, at the meeting, decided he wanted to use part of his time during the introduction to rebut. So I'm going to play this. If you could bring up the visual, I'm going to have to take my headphones off and play it. But you got to watch this. You have to watch this because it's a little tricky.
Now, the setup is, this is a video of Jim getting ready to respond to Phil blaming him for the town manager leaving. So this is Jim's time to rebut what Phil said. And I'm going to bring it up. Let's see. Listen.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
But I am running for a different vision, a more inclusive type of leadership. Now I need to use the remainder of my...
Did you catch that? Did the people catch that? Play it again. Play it again.
I know. Hold on. I got to rewind it a little because that was so funny. All right, hold on. Here we go.
I am obviously not running as the new guy on the block, but I am running for a different vision, a more inclusive type of leadership. Now I need to use the remainder of my...
What the hell was that?
Audio is low on the recording.
I think it came across.
Yeah, okay. So I'll tell you what that is. That's blatant editing, because what was going to be said, I'm going to read now. So this is what Jim was about to say during that speech.
Was he really saying that?
No, sorry. The truth, as they say, is in the text. Text exchanged between our council president and former town manager, along with subsequent texts between the former town manager and the then police chief, paint a much different picture. In one text, the former town manager reaches out to the police chief and says, and I quote, "I'm sending this to you because Phil sent this to my work phone. I can't in good conscience continue to work here. This has to stay between us, but I will be giving my notice this coming week. I'm also sending you this because and this is to the police chief, right? I'm also sending you this because I want to express my actual fear that I may face physical harm. Perhaps that's why a settlement was offered. Right? Why was a settlement offered? That's the question. Phil says that the guy quit because of Jim's badgering. Well, if Jim's badgering was him quitting, why did we offer him $130,000 to walk out the door? And that, my friends, is why.
So, and Wendy Miller Page, friend of the show, she said the audio was low. So Todd just read what was said, but the thing with the video was right as he was about to say that, it gets chopped. And that's what you're going to see on WCAT. It got chopped, and it cuts to Jim sitting down.
So here's the Teflon Phil, as I'm starting to call him now, because signs on town property, size of signs,
flying the flag,
using a heavy hand with the town manager to try to get his guy as the harbor master, and then throwing names around. I mean, clearly. And now this video that was filmed by John Vitagliano and edited by John Vitagliano and being sent to WCAT to be uploaded. I talked to Paul, who was the the host of the event, and he said, "This is what I got from them. This. He recorded for me. I can't believe that it would be edited, but it looks like it is." So,
what's their relationship? What's the guy who filmed it? Do we know what his relationship is with Phil?
We don't. However, when I asked Paul about that, he was like, I don't know if they're friends. I think they are friends. So,
regardless, who chopped it? Facebook user said, and that's what we just said. The guy that filmed it chopped it.
John Vitagliano.
Yeah, John Vitagliano. So we'd like to know why he did that, and will WCAT accept that? An edited political event. Yeah. This is a political event. I don't care if it's Mayberry RFD, right?
WCAT shouldn't put it up because it's edited. And
they should not play that.
It's not fair.
No, because that was a key part of Jim's speech that he had to say at the end. That was a key part, and it was edited. To edit a political event is as insane out. Well, you know what? Nowadays, it's kind of common, I suppose. That's kind of common. So if you people who are watching, you need to call WCAT and question them on that if they're going to show that. And where's the full version of that? Because again, now this people watching might think, oh, that's so what? No, this is a big so what. This is a big so what. You edited a political event for the town.
And not just for time.
And not for time.
You cut something out that totally, is against your candidate.
Well, so Wendy says that no, WCAT isn't responsible, but they should, in good faith, look at a political event. Now, I don't care if you edit out a wrestling match, a hockey game, a football game, but this is a political event that's going to affect the town of Winthrop. Okay, if you think that that's okay to be shown, well, I'm telling you, you're wrong. I'll tell you, call in. I'll tell you, you're wrong. That should not be aired in any way, shape, or form. I don't care what WCAT, they're responsible for playing it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what she means by that, because when we talk to them about, what we've been talking to them about, the one thing we were told is it has to be straight down the middle or I will not air it. Comcast has very strict rules. Well, this tape is clearly not straight down the middle. It's edited.
Yeah. Now, what we're trying to do, we probably just blew any chance we had of getting this show on WCAT. But we wanted to do that. We actually, Todd approached them and they said it's a political thing and it's an election year. And this is not a knock on WCAT. By no means is this a knock on them, right? But if they were to play this, then they're contributing to the fact that this was done, that this was edited, and they seem they should say no, it's edited. We're not going to show it unless we have the whole thing.
That's right.
The truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God.
I wonder if there is any longer a copy of the entire tape, because John brought in his tripod and his little home video camera, little Sony it looked like. If he just erased that piece, did he bother to make a copy of the original?
There's always a copy.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's always a copy. Because if he downloaded it, it's still on a hard drive somewhere. It's still on, if it came from the camera and the camera has a microchip or whatever it is that his camera had, it's still on there. You know,
I mean, this isn't Watergate. I mean,
No, but it's Winthrop Gate. It has to do with Phil again.
Philgate.
Phil.
Teflon Phil. Philgate.
I wouldn't even give him that much credit because he has
neither of them. Which one do you want to give him?
I got a couple of names for him, but it's not appropriate for this show. We'll keep it right.
I do want to put a bow on the Republican Town Committee thing just to be done with it. I mean, the questions were around CRT. We already know that. There were a couple questions about it. There were a couple of layup. There was a layup about, are you happy with the education performance and standardized testing? Bottom line is these things are typically they always get asked. Always get asked. Same questions every election cycle. Wendy, not a chance that it was that convenient that he stopped it.
How do you stop and start right at that moment? No,
not even.
Stop
possible.
Making excuses for this guy.
Put your bleeding heart away, will you please?
Wendy.
Come back from Utopia.
I think Wendy's trying to see the good in people. I think she's trying to see the good in people.
As usual. That's why we love her. Oh, it's
Ron Vecchia wants to know, where was the video shot?
PSA Hall, buddy. PSA Hall. I was there. I know exactly what was said. Are those Band-Aids?
Wendy.
Are those Band-Aids and heart?
Those
broken
are
heart.
and hearts. Yeah,
Broken. Bleeding heart. Oh, I just called her that. What a dope I am.
All right, so we are by no means done with this topic, but tonight's show is basically running counter to the Red Sox, Monday Night Football, and NHL hockey. As you can see, I got it all on behind me.
Yeah.
So I don't want to rush this, but we promised Celeste.
Bring her on.
Heinonen. Okay. That she wanted to come on. And we said we'd give her up to 15 minutes. So without further ado, welcome back, Celeste.
Hold on. Hi, Heinonen. Hi, Celeste. Sorry, I'm not calling you by your last name. That was dumb. Before we get into this, because Ron's still on, I hope he doesn't go away. I would love for him to come on sometime and just tell us why no one at the debate, not one of the panel people, asked a single question about the town manager leaving. I found that shocking that no one cared why the town manager left and why we paid him $130,000 to quit. I would love to hear from someone on that panel. Quigley, you, Ron, I forget who the other young woman was, but would love to hear from you. Anyway.
And Ron, Celeste, it won't be an aggressive interview. If you want to come on, we're not going to attack you.
No, not at all.
So let's get back to our guest, Celeste. Hi. Hey, how you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Good. Good to see you. You
too. Thank you. I wanted to come back in and just check in, say hi, chat a little bit.
What do you have an event coming up?
I do have an event coming up with.
See, I pay attention.
Yeah. Well, we flooded the Facebook world pretty hard today. Julie DeMarco Barry and I are going to co-host a meet and greet October 30th at the Arms from 1 to 3. So give a little plug there. I'm happy to be teaming up with Julie. I think she's great. I would be thrilled to be able to sit on the school committee with her. So excited.
Go ahead.
Is it gonna be in the bar area or in the back little function room? Do you know?
I actually don't know.
I'm sure we can find it anyway, but
yeah, I'm sure.
Right.
So So yeah, so just putting that out there to all the viewers, if you'd like to come down and chat and get to know Julie and I a little better, we'll be there.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Since the last time you were on, is there anything you want to talk about again? You want to get something out there? What's up? And we offer this to any of the candidates that have been on.
Yeah.
She just had Celeste just happened to say, "Can I come on again?" And there you go. It's that easy.
Well, I really, I liked talking to you guys. I think it's a good publicity too. And I don't know, there were a couple of things I wanted to talk a little bit about, but I don't know. You guys were talking about the survey earlier, and now I just want to talk about that.
Oh, by all means.
By all
means.
So here's the thing, and there's a few things, I guess, about this survey. And when they published the results, it really took a lot of self-restraint for me not to jump in on the conversation. But Lee Foley had reached out to me one-on-one before the survey and asked me several of the questions, and I answered her candidly and openly. So the idea that as a candidate, I or anyone else doesn't want to be open is a little ridiculous to me. But then as she started to post about this on Facebook and in the groups, and I don't want to get it, but I asked, who's doing this survey? Who's coming up with the questions? Oh, it's a concerned group of concerned parents, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, maybe you should open it up to everyone on Winthrop Nice discussion. And she gave me some really answer, what do you want? The questions before the test or something? So I said,
saw
okay,
that.
Yeah.
I saw that. You're 6.
Right. So I won't answer your survey questions. I don't know. The survey, I know who wrote some of the questions. And
well, in one of her posts, let me see. I'm going to pull this out. I don't mean to block you out, Celeste.
That's all right.
But it says, it seems one of the candidates has been sharing our letter publicly. And this is from Lenora Foley, one Winthrop, connected to Julie Wallers. It says, it seems one of the candidates have been sharing our letter publicly, so we have attached it in the comments for more to see. P.S. Please excuse any typos. As promised, we did not edit responses like the video we watched earlier. So, she's saying, oh, somebody leaked it. Well, why couldn't you put it out there to begin with?
Right.
She released it after she found out somebody else released it.
Right. What's the problem with knowing what you're going to ask about? And
there's a lot of problems with this thing.
Well, there's a lot. Yes, I couldn't agree more. But the other thing is, I didn't respond to her at all, but I don't know who, a few other candidates did respond to her, saw the questions, and still decided not to answer. So what are you proving by not giving me the questions before the test?
Typical liberal bullying of candidates. They're going to demand, they're going to stomp their feet. They're like petulant children. So we're going to drag you on Facebook.
Right.
And that's what they do. They drag you. This isn't Twitter. And by the way, Twitter is not real. Twitter isn't a real place, people, in case you didn't know that. It gets too much credibility.
Yes, it is. It's utopia. It's Twittertopia.
So that's what they tried to do to the other candidates. They tried to intimidate them and they dragged them. They did everything short of mentioning who didn't take it. Because they mentioned the two people that did. So guess what? You basically indirectly named the other ones who didn't.
Right.
Oh, that was by design.
It is by design.
That was by design. Yeah. I mean, for some reason, they seem to think that people like you and I, you and I, my wife, whoever else, are not going to vote for candidates because they're not answering some questionnaire that concerned parents, me being one of the loudest mouths in the town about it, we're not involved in. Why would I even care about that stupid survey? I thought it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, we think you did the right thing by not answering those questions.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
The majority of the candidates didn't. So what does that tell you?
That's right.
Right.
You know?
Very true. Yeah.
Well,
And
kudos for you for not falling for it, because
thank
that
you.
was a setup from the beginning, especially
Right.
who's promoting it.
Yeah.
You know, the
Yep.
people promoting it are nothing but liberal progressives and this has nothing to do with you, and you don't have to comment on this. I've made my piece. I've said my piece.
Rant
about
over.
that.
So
We take
Celeste,
turns, don't we, Todd?
yes, we do.
Take
Just
turns
don't bring
ranting.
up the kids, and don't bring up the kids.
Okay.
Celeste, is there anything else that you had on your mind? Because I wanted to ask you. I want to add one question for you when you're ready.
Okay. No, I just, I wanted to just say, of all this campaigning, one of the best things for me is how much everybody's talking about buses and what it would take to get a bus back at Fort Banks. So, I think I posted it on Facebook a week or so ago, but if nothing else comes out of this entire run, but we get a bus at Fort Banks and, we alleviate some safety issues and some stress, then I think we'll have won something. I don't know what, but
I think you should start a Facebook group and bully and drag all the school committee people that don't vote for that.
Yeah.
Right. No, I think you're right. I think we have.
No, we don't want to do that.
No,
but
if I don't get elected, maybe
we're not going to let it go,
and we can work it that way. But you're right. You have to push, and I think we have some parents that are kind of behind it. So that's a really good positive thing. I think that's coming out.
All right.
You're tugging at my heartstrings there, because I had it really. I took it somewhat personally when they got rid of the buses, and I don't want to reopen old wounds. Unfortunately, I'm pretty good at that. But some of the reasons we were given for the buses going out were like maintenance, they were just untruths. That being said, there are going to be some challenges, but I'm happy to help any way I can.
Thank you.
All right.
From all the parents, thank you for that.
I'm with them.
All right. Anything else, Celeste?
Plug
your event one more time if you want.
Yep. October 30th, 1 to 3 at the Arms. Come down.
All right. Awesome. Who are you doing it with?
Julie DeMarco Berry.
Julie DeMarco Berry. Okay.
Awesome. Looks like I'll probably see you there. Unless I have football, I'll probably pop by.
I didn't think my son had football, and then today he came home and said, "No, I have a game that week," and now I'm a little nervous myself, but I'll be there either way.
Right.
We got a comment in. Celeste, hang around with us for a little while.
Okay.
You're in it now, Celeste. You're in it now. Did the rest of the tape show questions answered by Jim and Phil, or were those edited out also?
No, they weren't. And I'm going to try to load this thing up onto the Winthrop Votes. It's a pretty big file, and you can watch it if you want.
Well, I think all we needed to see at the end was that whole edit about Jim defending himself and calling out facts. These were facts. We got it. It's in writing.
That's right.
Well, in texting. And it got edited out. That's a huge mistake. And WCAT, again, should not show that.
I agree.
They should not show that tape. But it's up to the people to call.
That's right.
And demand, or they want to see the whole tape.
Yeah, and I'm really hopeful that I'm really hopeful that people are seeing this, this type of behavior by an elected official,
Phil.
Phil. Yes, Phil knew nothing about the COVID money. That is true. That question is in there, and he depends on how much money we get. We already know how much money we're getting. Phil was absolutely clueless. My point here is, I hope people are looking at this and really considering their vote. We've had enough incompetence in the town council. It needs to stop, so we don't have to keep going back to the taxpayer and the ratepayer on the water bills for the screw-ups of the people that are trying to lead the town.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we had no callers tonight.
No, I don't. Did the number ever go up?
It was at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's interesting. No, nobody wants
I see how you pay attention to the screen.
I don't. I just keep looking at myself.
Oh my God. That's a good way that's a good exit from the show.
Is this thing on?
Yeah. Don't forget to tip your waitress.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
here. I do bar mitzvahs too.
All right, so Celeste, once again, she has an event on October 30th. It's a Saturday from 1 to 3 at the Winthrop Arms. It's a meet and greet.
Yes.
People should get out there, and people have to pay attention to their local government. I cannot stress that enough. Stop paying attention to what's going on in Washington and that loon in the White House. Stop paying attention to the lunatic that's the town council president. Right?
Right.
And Celeste, I'm not getting involved in that.
Yeah.
She looked away like, oh no.
What am
Maybe I
doing
should come
here?
off now. Maybe
What
I should
am
just log
doing?
myself off.
I was not here. She's gonna skulk away.
Just blame us, Celeste. Just blame us.
I didn't. This isn't. Yeah. No.
That's okay. You don't have to say. Just keep sipping your tea. That's okay.
Yeah.
So, Wendy said, "Yikes! Zoinks!
Yeah,
Yikes!"
zoiks,
Yeah.
slap, splat, Batman, pow.
No comments. What is it? No comments for the PTO candidate debate.
Oh, I didn't. Did you go, Kurt? I didn't go. That's another event.
It's another show. We'll pick that up.
Yeah, well, someone get me the tape.
Yeah, because we all have the Red Sox to watch. So
Yeah, we gotta go. We're keeping everybody from the game. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There's no one watching.
All right, Todd. Well, listen. You want to take us out?
Yeah, listen. Don't forget Celeste event 1 to 3, the 30th. Winthrop Arms. Don't forget to vote. All politics starts and stops at the local level. Get involved. You can make a difference. We'll see you guys Monday night when we have Suzanne Leonard. Again, Celeste, thank you for joining. Thank you for being a friend of the show. And call in sometime. I don't know.
Thank you.
We'll talk
All
soon.
right.
Have a good night, all.
And we'll see you next Monday night. And Celeste and whatever your name is, stay on.